Now, when you first heard that there was going to be a documentary about Melania, you probably thought, oh, or huh, or why, or can I undo my LASIK?
When people first heard there was going to be a documentary about Melania Trump, the reactions were all over the place. Some were genuinely curious about what new perspective it might offer. Others wondered whether there was really enough unseen material to justify an entire feature-length film. And then there were the people asking a much simpler question: who exactly was this documentary made for? That curiosity quickly turned into debate across social media, with supporters saying the project could finally present Melania's own perspective, while critics questioned whether it would reveal anything viewers hadn't already seen through years of public appearances. Before the first trailer had even finished making the rounds online, opinions had already formed. Some expected an intimate portrait of life inside the White House. Others predicted it would simply become another political conversation wrapped in a cinematic package. Whatever expectations audiences had, one thing became obvious: the documentary was already generating headlines before most people had watched a single minute.
It was never told before. Me, how I manage my business, family, and also establishing the East Wing.
Oh, no one's told her? Oh, God.
As more promotional material appeared, the focus shifted toward Melania Trump's own description of the project. She spoke about balancing family responsibilities, managing business interests, and overseeing work connected to the East Wing during her time as First Lady. According to the documentary's promotional message, this was intended to be a closer look at responsibilities that many members of the public rarely see. Supporters argued that First Ladies often receive less attention for their day-to-day work than presidents do, making a behind-the-scenes documentary an interesting concept. Critics, however, questioned whether the film would provide genuine insight or simply reinforce an already carefully managed public image. The discussion quickly expanded beyond the documentary itself. Commentators began debating whether political documentaries should aim primarily to inform, persuade, or entertain. Others wondered how much creative freedom filmmakers actually have when working with high-profile political figures who understandably want some control over how they're portrayed. The result was a conversation that became almost as interesting as the documentary itself, with viewers debating expectations long before deciding whether to watch.
But whether this movie was a legitimate piece of art or a cash grab, it was a cash grab.
The First Lady will reportedly walk away with at least $28 million. Rolling Stone is reporting 2/3 of the film's New York crew asked not to be credited.
You didn't want to be in the credits, but how will they know who to give the trophy to at the FIFA Academy Awards?
The biggest controversy arrived when reports about the documentary's financial arrangements began circulating. News stories claimed that Melania Trump could receive a substantial payment connected to the project, immediately shifting public attention from the documentary's content to its business side. That sparked an entirely different debate. Supporters argued there is nothing unusual about public figures receiving compensation for documentaries, books, interviews, or licensing agreements involving their lives. Critics responded that the reported figures raised questions about whether the project was driven more by commercial opportunity than storytelling. As additional reports discussed production details and crew reactions, the conversation only grew louder. Instead of asking whether the documentary was compelling or informative, many people began asking whether it represented a meaningful documentary or primarily a business venture. In today's entertainment landscape, that question surfaces whenever famous personalities release new projects, especially when politics and celebrity overlap. Stepping back, the discussion surrounding the Melania Trump documentary reveals something larger about the way audiences consume political media today. Modern viewers rarely approach documentaries as neutral observers. Instead, many arrive with opinions already shaped by news coverage, social media debates, and previous impressions of the people involved. That means every trailer, interview, promotional appearance, and financial report becomes part of the overall story. Sometimes those conversations generate even more attention than the finished production itself. Political documentaries occupy a unique space because they sit somewhere between journalism, biography, and entertainment. Some viewers expect a balanced historical record. Others expect exclusive personal stories. Still others simply hope to understand a public figure beyond campaign speeches and official photographs. Meeting all of those expectations at once is nearly impossible. As a result, nearly every political documentary becomes the subject of disagreement before audiences have reached the closing credits. Melania Trump has long maintained a more reserved public profile than many other political figures, which naturally increases curiosity whenever she chooses to participate in a major media project.